I'll be chairing our English language sessions today and also giving my own talk later this afternoon. And I want to kind of just get right to the first talk. So the first talk is from Omar Fouab of Archipel, and it's on AI, the third digital wave to activate and accelerate your L&D KPIs. And to start this talk, we're going to turn it over to the video screen. So please direct your attention to the screen and we'll go from there. So thanks, everyone.
Good morning, everybody. As you can see, I'm not redundant yet. I think AI is something that we could all work with, and I'm very happy to see you all, and good morning and welcome to Learning Technologies. My name is Omar Fouab. I'm the CEO of Archipel, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about AI and how it could help and what the potentials are for learning and development, to accelerate learning and development, to measure KPIs, and make learning experience for your employees a much more enjoyable experience. So let's kick it off. It all starts with the fear of unknown. Hello? And I want to show you a little video.
Heeft u een mobiele telefoon?
Nee.
Waarom niet?
Nou, dat heb ik niet nodig, want ik word toch niet gebeld of zo.
Heeft u een mobiele telefoon?
Nee hoor, heb ik niet.
Waarom heeft u er geen?
Nou, ik zie er net niet van in.
U ziet er het nut niet van in?
Absoluut niet. Maar...
Dan ben je op aan het fietsen en dan word je gebeld.
Ik heb gewoon een telefoon, waarvoor moet ik een mobiel hebben?
Onderweg, als ik in de trein zit of in de auto gebeld worden of zelf kunnen bellen, vind ik niet nodig.
Ik zie het niet zo zitten, zo'n mobiele telefoon. We hebben het jaren zo gedaan en ik vind het wel goed zo.
Maar ik hoef niet continu zo'n piepding op een terrasje te hebben en zo.
Als mensen mij bereiken willen, dan kunnen ze dat met een brief doen. En is het dringend, dan ben ik telefonisch thuis te bereiken.
Hallo?
Met Sandrine.
Ja, hallo?
Hello. And that actually wasn't really long ago, where a lot of people thought, why would I need a mobile phone? I already have a phone at home, and you saw that. And I think that with every transition that we face as people, that there is a fear of the unknown. I think it's the growth fixed versus the fixed mindset. And I think AI is one of those things, where it starts with fear, but it could also show us of how much potential there is for AI to help us and make it engage people even more as employees. So we started with knowledge is power and transitioned to Google is power, because if you had the ability to Google things right, that was amazing. And I think everybody already knows the really hype that we've had the last few weeks about Open API and all the things that you could do with that as well. And I think that a lot of people see it as fear of the unknown and what could it happen. And I think most of the fears that are concerns about jobs and employment, will it change how we work with each other? Will jobs disappear? What does it mean for my job placement and my future of work? Concerns about ethical. I mean, there's a lot of data in there and it knows a lot about us. And an ethical thing and concerns is something that is also something that is thrown around. And I think the third one is privacy. But because we have the collection of all of these data and things like the websites that you do, the cookies that are being saved, and that is used to make it even better, to make the data models and algorithms even better. And I think the fourth concern is malicious purposes, because if we know all these stuff about you, it could also be used against you in your phone or in your home or whatever. If you're more like me and people like me, I think it also brings a wide variety of possibilities as well. Opportunities like increased efficiency and productivity, because we can make sure that a lot of these redundant processes are automated, which makes our life easier and helps us to achieve more with the same time. Improve decision making, because I think that because we are biased as people, so we take these biases with us when we make decisions, while in AI and algorithms is morely based on data and data points, which doesn't look at if you're a woman or if you've been what country you were born or what age you are. And better access to information and knowledge, because it levels the playing field where everybody has the same possibilities. And I think it helps us in the whole idea of making it accessible for everybody. And as I said, increase in automation and cost savings, but also creates more opportunities for new businesses, because every time when we have a new transition to a new form of way of working or learning or living, it also brings new job opportunities and new functions and new possibilities as well. So could AI revolutionize the way that we learn and how we educate each other? I think there are three potential benefits that AI could help with. Let's start with the first one, personalization. I think if you look at how we do a lot of the classroom-based learning, it hasn't changed that much from the way of British colonization, where you had somebody in the front of the classroom and a lot of people listening. So there's this huge potential to make learning more personalized, because if you look at the way that we go around our day, that's very personalized as well. The way we watch the movies, the shows, what we eat, what we dress, but you're expected to go to the same leadership training as all your peers in the management of the specific country, the company that you're working in. Second one is automation efficiency. I think that AI could help us in grade assessments or track health and safety environment trainings that you have to do every year. And these are things that you don't have to like put in an Excel and maintain. Well, you have to do it again in 6 months, or you have to do it in a year. Those are things that can be automated as well. And the third thing is accessibility and adaptability. So where you can make sure that everybody within your team or your company or whatever has the same access and the same level playing field to better themselves and make sure that they are fit for future and are working on keeping themselves, as I said, fit for future. So let's start by personalization. I think some of the possible implementations, adaptive learning. One of them is that you can use AI and data to make sure that the courses that you show to your employees are more in line with their needs and their goals and their learning history. Much like it is already done with Spotify and Netflix and other ways, other things in our personal life. Second is personal recommendations. I think that if you know more about the specific person and their goal and their drivers, the whole learning experience can be more adaptable to their needs as well. Personalized assessments. I think that much like if you're sick, you wouldn't go to a pharmacy and then just order whatever medicine you have. It starts with knowing where you are and where you want to go. So I think that assessment where we can actually look at the person and see what capabilities do you have and what capabilities are needed in the future, it makes it much easier to start with a baseline and make a learning track that transitions to that. So, what are some of the potential advantages to making use of AI within pronunciation? I think more increased engagement. I think when a learning curriculum or learning items are more in line with your learning needs and how you learn, I think that people are more keen to get engaged and see that, hey, this is more personalized for me. This is attractive for me as well, and engages me as well. Second one is motivation. I think it all starts with seeing what your goal is. Because if it's just something that the manager says that you have to do or the curriculum says that you have to do, people would lack the motivation. I think when you personalize that and make sure that it's more tailored to their needs and their situation, it also increases motivation as well. Higher retention of learners as well. I think that when you have these two things where you are focused more on motivation and personalized, etc., I think that you're more keen on that a retention rate is also higher within your organization, because you have more vital employees that are more keen to learning, and improve performance and higher knowledge of retention. And we do that with Archipel, and where we use 360 learning scans, and we have a wide range of them, from personalization scans to more looking at what your capabilities are, which are tailored to you as an employee or to you as a learner, where it gives you insight from yourself, but also people around you. And based on that, we give you recommendations on what learning curricula could fit you based on your learning profile and your capabilities as an employee and where you want to go. The second one is working with learning profiles. We don't have just one learning curriculum where everybody gets access. We actually want to know who you are and what drives you and what your way of learning is and what your key drivers are. Because if you understand that, the impact of learning is much higher. And third one is learning tracks. So what we do there is that we look at the baseline. So where are you now and where do you want to go? And based on your learning profile, based on the scans and tests that we do to know what your capabilities are, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, we automatically use AI to predict a learning track that could get you to that goal. And based on your learning profile, it could either be all classroom or blended or only online, because the way that we work and learn is different for everybody. And that's where we utilize AI as well. And thirdly, the whole learning experience from the start of getting in the platform is personalized as well, because the whole content is based on your learning goals and what you want to learn, and on your learning profile and your learning needs. Secondly, automation and efficiency. I think some of the potential implementations are content creation and curation. I think you've seen it. The first image that we actually used was one that was created by AI, and I think some have played a little bit with ChatGPT and other forums, and you can create videos, you can create pictures, and all of these can be used to accelerate the creation of content within your company. Instead of making where you have to produce days of content, it could be instantly created because you said, hey, can you help me with content based on this or this item? Grading and assessment, as mentioned, I think that where the assessments can be done on your learning curriculum and where you stand as a person. Learning management, I think that where it can also we have a lot of companies or clients where a lot of health and safety environment regulations are being done by government, where you have to meet a specific learning curriculum to keep your job or keep being relevant. I think that these are things that are tracked a lot of the times manually, and AI can be used there to make sure that you can assess if somebody has that skill, and then check that box and make sure that the grade is done, and you can then make sure that it has to be done again in 2 years. Tutoring and coaching as well. I think that instead of making an appointment with a coach or a tutor or whatever, it could be more instant. Let's say that you want to learn something within Excel. Why register for a training and wait 4 or 5 weeks to go to that training, and which is maybe 2 or 3 days, and then wait for the specific thing that you want to learn? Why not chat with an AI chatbot that gives you instantly recommendations on how to use Excel that you want to do at that moment? Or, hey, I have an important meeting. Can you help me with 5 tips that I should look for or think about when going into that meeting, instead of just going to a classroom training again? And predictive analytics, because if we can track where you start and where you go, you can predict as well. Because if you see a higher, if you track the effectiveness and you analyze the data points, you can actually predict, hey, 65% or 85% of the people that did this and this were more effective in leadership based on your learning profile. Well, I've already talked about some of the advantages. So reduce cost, increase scalability of your organization, improve the efficiency. I think it improves the learning experience because it's more tailored to your learning needs and more effective to what you want to achieve as a learner. And it supports learners on demand instead of waiting to go to that training or whatever. It's instantly where it can help you be better. And we do that with Archipel again, where if a manager wants to do a training, let's say that you want to increase your effectiveness as a team, or you want to learn Python with your team, you just fill in the learning need that you have, and we give you predictions on suppliers in classroom or online or in webinars or whatever, and we give you recommendations on which suppliers you could select to get where you can get an offer of a training that can then be delivered to you. And we do that with selection of content as well, because much like Amazon and other booking platforms, we can show you a few of the trainings that you want to do, because we have the biggest European marketplace of trainings. We track in our platform, we have more than 70,000 classroom trainings of more than 3,000 suppliers, and you can just compare them to each other, and we track improvement and we track effectiveness as well, where we show you, hey, these trainings are more effective than others based on the type of organization you are or the type of employees you have, etc. And e-learnings. We've implemented AI in our content creation system, where we have an authoring tool that will actually help you create an e-learning based on the learning goal that you've set for yourself. So let's say you want to make an e-learning based on 5 ways of how to be more effective with Excel, Microsoft Excel. It actually gives you recommendations on content, video, text recommendations, etc., that you can use in your authoring tool to make an e-learning even faster. And then accessibility and adaptability. I think one of these is a lot of times when we start learning, we forget that not everybody has the same accessibility to learning. It could be because you're blind, or you have a different language or whatever. And when we do these things where we automatically caption and transcript, it makes it easier for everybody to have the same level playing field to get access to that learning curriculum. And same can be said for text to speech and speech to text, and also language translation. Let's say that you are a company with 5 or 6 countries. It helps to utilize AI to not have to make that same training 5 times, but it can be instantly translated to a different language. I actually used it a few weeks ago, ChatGPT, because I wanted to introduce our new CEO, and I wanted to do it in a few languages. So I input the text, and the translation was 95% accurate, much better than what you would do with Google Translate. And adaptive learning, which I already discussed. I think when doing that and making sure when you utilize AI in that way, it increases inclusion of everybody within your company, because it doesn't matter what language you speak or what your baseline is. It's more inclusive for everybody within your team. And the targets are more individual and involve on your needs as a person, and that also is something that could help retention. And it helps remove barriers because it's more accessible for everybody and more easily, there's an easier way of stepping in and also getting engaged. And it gives access regardless of location or language or whatever. And we would do that with Archipel again, where we've introduced a chatbot which acts as a coach, where you can talk with it and say, hey, I want to do a time management training. And it gives you a few questions, like where do you want to do it, and what's your budget, how many days, what are your learning needs, what are your learning goals. And it also uses things that we already know about you, maybe your learning profile or your learning history or whatever, and gives you learning content that is more centralized or more targeted for you to help you get that learning content that you want, more tailored to what would be more in line with your needs as well. And what are some of the things that we can expect looking at the future? Looking at what impact that can have. There are jobs at risk, of course, and more repetitive and routine tasks where things like, those are jobs that are becoming more and more redundant. And it's basically jobs that involve simple things like maybe picking orders within a warehouse, or more things that are easily automated. Jobs that involve data analytics, because analyzing data could be something that is automatically done by AI, but it's more understanding is hard. Transportation and logistics jobs. I've been to a client of ours where the whole warehouse was transitioned from employees to robots that actually picked those orders and put them in the trucks. And a lot of jobs that involve physical labor as well. So what are jobs that are more in the clear? Think about human interaction. Those are things that are not easily automated or whatever by AI. And emotional intelligence. Jobs that require creativity and original thinking also. Physical dexterity. And jobs that require ethical and legal decision making, because we've seen examples where AI cannot make that difference yet. So those are things that are, I think, jobs that are in the clear. And management and leadership. I think nobody's waiting for AI to give them orders what to do and how to do their job better. But it also brings new opportunities of new jobs and new roles that are created. Data scientists and AI engineers. Ethics, as I said, is a thing that is very important, where you have to think about regulations and how is AI used and how is it tracked and governed. Product managers, consultants, data producers, BI, etc. AI educators and trainers. Cybersecurity is also something that's very important, because if we track all those data, you have to make sure and to maintain security as well of that. Interaction designers and AI policy experts. So what are some of the required skills? I'm just naming 7 that I think that are the top. Technical skills. I think those are things that are very much needed. I know that when we are looking for technical engineers or whatever, that is something that is everybody's looking for it at the moment. I think everybody is transitioning to a technical company at the moment. Analytic skills, making sure that you understand data and know what it means and what it says. Communication and collaboration skills, ethics and governance, adaptability and problem-solving skills, and emotional intelligence. I think these are the top 7 required skills looking forward into the future. So I just want to thank you all a lot for listening, and I hope that you see AI as I see it, where it's a possibility of something that we can work with, that can actually help us do our jobs and achieve our goals even better, instead of something that could be just a fear or something that could hold us down or make us redundant. So thank you all for... What did I forget? I actually didn't forget. It was on my next slide, but sure. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great learning technologies and have a good morning. Thank you.